Speaker. Arnold Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaking to the amendment moved by the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins, I want to speak to every National MP in the House who I know believes that this House belongs to the people, and it must reflect the voices, values and cultures of those that we serve. I know every electorate MP believes that. I know that everyone who's had to front up at a town hall meeting or to meet the principal outside the school before they do an assembly believes that we have a democracy that we can be proud of. And I believe that they know that that includes a rich history of 200 years of Māori protest in all of its forms that we as a country can be proud of our Indigenous people not only taking to the street but engaging in lively debate within our media, within our public forums and within this place. That includes the place of Tikanga Māori, and I'm proud that this is a parliament that does recognise that in some way. Today we're debating a privilege from the 1600s designed to protect MPs for speaking up for the people that they represented to the Crown. It was designed at a time when MPs' lives were literally on the line for doing exactly that. It's not a privilege which was designed to shut down opposition, it was a privilege that was designed to promote it. This is something that we can be proud of in our system, and it's not codified by the standing orders or the rule book or McGee on parliamentary procedure. This is something which is fundamental to all Westminster parliaments around the world. And so when we have a Privileges Committee that has made a decision to limit the privilege of parliamentarians in this way, where the Crown can exercise its power in Parliament by use of its government MPs on such a committee making this sort of decision, we have made a precedential decision about the way that privilege operates in New Zealand, which is unlike any other Western democracy. And it is being used against a minor party, a party that opposes the government's agenda and an unprecedented attack on Te Tiriti o Waitangi, which is a constitutional document. This is unlike anything that other parliaments have to deal with, and we are, on the world stage, pretty unique in having a debate like this. We're also debating what kind of parliament we want to be in future. We can be one that punishes opposition, and there are many of those in the world. Or we can be one that makes room for it in all of its forms. We can celebrate haka, waiata and karakia when it is beautiful, and it is beautiful. Or we can shut it down when it challenges power. Parliament is not stuck, and its practice evolves over time. It's something that I really enjoy about New Zealand's democracy is that we can change it and that we are the masters of it. Every parliamentary term we have a formal process and an informal process for changing our own rules. They need to change like that because they reflect the values and the cultures and the languages of the people that we serve. And we couldn't do this job that we do if we had something that was more codified than that. But shifts like this, represented in the report of the Privileges Committee, which I have on my desk here, it's not long, these should be things that we carefully consider together. They are designed to be agreed in what was a bipartisan and is now a cross-partisan way. It is conventional that we do these things with cross-partisan support because we all need to agree on what our job is. The fundamental responsibility of MPs in this House is to represent the people who put us here. And so we have to have a modicum of respect for those people who put the elected representatives here, even if they do not agree with us. This decision of the Privileges Committee is wrong because it doesn't do that, and it didn't even claim to do that. There was no trying to capture the views of not only the minority parties, but the major opposition party too. And when I speak to the national MPs on this, I'm speaking to you because the two major parties should always agree on these things. There are minor parties in this House who we will both disagree with. There are minor parties in this House who we think are testing the limits of the public tolerance for democracy as it is now. And I know those National Party MPs who are listening to this believe that too. If we do things like this, if we use our institutions in this place to make decisions which benefit the government at the expense of minority views and opposition views, then we cannot continue in this way. We will need to fundamentally rethink how this democracy works. Because if the centre can't hold that power, then nobody can anymore, and there was no natural limit to the power of an executive in this country. And that is not a democracy that we have designed. It is not something that anyone in this House sees as a future for Aotearoa. Let's come back to where privilege comes from. That idea that privilege is a living protection for members of parliament is a useful one for us to start with, but it's not about the members themselves, it's about the form and the function of this place. Privilege isn't about the feelings of the people here, it's about the ability to conduct our work and to debate with each other in the way that this place is designed around. And so using this privilege to shut down opposition, even though it was factually interrupting of a vote, is just another way to shut down what was theatrically voiced opposition, which should have a place in our democracy now. The Speaker and the House need flexibility to respond to new forms of expression and protest. We need to be able to adapt to that, and what counts as disorder has changed in both our society and Parliament over many, many years, and in the time that there are people in this House who have seen. We inherited this system from Westminster, but we're making our own choices now. And I think New Zealand's Parliament is the most vibrant and exciting of any in the Westminster system. Our question time is the only one where everyone comes, where ministers and opposition members all have a go, where we have lively debates that are well attended and we can be proud of when there are visiting diplomats and guests in the gallery. This is a great Parliament. Privileges Committee has issued a report which hurts it. Every member from a major party should be concerned about that. I want to make the point about proportionality and precedent, which has been well put by my colleague, the Right Honourable Adrian Rudawhi. Suspension is not symbolic only. It removes elected representatives and silences those people who brought them here. And the suspension doesn't just punish the member. It means their constituents, who in this case are Māori, many of them are young, many of them are marginalised, most of them do not agree with this government, will lose their voice in Parliament. Much has been made of the attendance of those members, but what we are debating here is a precedent going forward about how members from minor parties representing marginalised communities and marginalised views can have their say in this place. That's something we should all be very, very defensive of, because it's something not only that is really important to any Westminster democracy, but it's important to this particular democracy. We have a good one. We have something we can be proud of here. We should all be hesitant to touch it. 21 days is 7 times longer than the longest suspension ever recorded. It's disproportionate to the offence, and that is why we oppose it. In over 160 years, only 2 MPs have ever been suspended, one for a single day, the other for 3, and not one, not even in cases involving misuse of public money or serious breaches of trust, have faced 21 days. These punishments have to make sense to the public. What we do in here has to make sense to the public at some level. It has to be fair and it has to look fair, and this doesn't. Hana Rāwhiti Maipi Clark was already named and suspended, and so we do not support further punishment for her. She was immediately named on the day of the incident. She has come to this House today. Some members have said there is no remorse. That was a speech of remorse. That was a speech of honesty and moral clarity. Tikanga in this House is something that is important to me. It is important that we use it. It is important that we celebrate it to me. Tikanga is not mentioned in the standing orders despite its significance in all of our public life. Standing Order 109 recognises te reo Māori, but not the broader practice of tikanga at all. And McGee on parliamentary procedure notes that tikanga is often woven into speeches, but its formal standing is unclear. We can do better than that. This should have been an opportunity to do better than that. This was the most senior committee of Parliament with some of its most respected members. It had an opportunity to codify some of the use of tikanga and haka, and it did not do that, and so it failed. I think we can all do better, and Labour supports accountability here. We also support haka, waiata, karakia, and proportionality and fairness and the right to protest for minor parties. Parliament should not punish haka or the interruption of a vote more harshly than behaviour that shuts down debate and the free exchange of ideas. And let's be honest, this debate isn't just about disorder, it's about that discomfort that happens when Māori protest in a way that the House hasn't learned to accommodate. So let's learn to accommodate it. Let's have the conversation about how we make this a part of our practice. Willie Jackson said the world is watching. That's true. But all of our families are watching us conduct ourselves in this way. This is a dark day for Parliament. This is not the standard that we hold ourselves to. But let it not be the unravelling either. Let's learn from this. Let's bring tikanga into our practice. Let's do our best to understand it so that we can represent the people who need us.